Hello folks, I'm Meteorologist Jamie Kagol, and we're going to spend the next 15 minutes taking a little bit of a deep dive into the forecast. We're going to talk about some of the conditions we have going on right now. And we do have some showers, some thunderstorms, finally some beneficial rain on the way. So we'll take a deeper dive into that. We'll talk about the forecast as well, and we'll have that 7-day for you here momentarily. But again, if you want to stick around, again, we'll really get into the weeds with what's going to be going on. We're going to break down the severe weather potential around here because there is going to be severe weather likely in our region over the next couple of days. We do have a setup coming our way where it's not just a cold front sweeping through, one and done. Here come the showers, thunderstorms. This front stalls and meanders a little bit, so that trigger mechanism is going to be sticking around for a couple of days there. We're really highlighting Wednesday today through Friday. It's kind of a 3-day window, if you will, where showers and thunderstorms are going to be somewhat impactful at times and around the region. But today, right now for Wednesday, most of us are going to enjoy a warm but comfortable day. Dew points are absolutely fantastic right now. But if you are, if you happen to love the really dog days of summer, heat, humidity feel, that mugginess, the humidity, I got a couple of days here coming up in the 7-day forecast you're really going to enjoy. We do have storm chances kicking in later on this evening. There are going to be more storms to time out coming up on Thursday as well, and even into Friday. Just the caveat with the forecast though, Thursday's storms and the boundaries and where this front ends up will affect how Friday plays out. So make sure you're paying attention and tuning into the forecast, because once we're done with Thursday, the forecast models kind of reset. We'll find out where those boundaries end up, and then we're going to see how the cards land for Friday. But likely Friday will be another day of at least some thunderstorms, quite possibly some severe weather. So you definitely want to make sure you're tuning into the forecast for the next couple of days just to stay on top of things. And any of those minor little changes that come along could definitely change your day as you go from Thursday into Friday and into Saturday. But right now, let's start things out this morning with the current temperatures. And again, we've easily made it into the 70s. That's been easy to do for the past week and a half, 2 weeks now. Second half of May right into June, we are running temperatures that should be more typical of late July, early August around here. And the humidity has held off for the most part. That's not going to happen as we get into the later part of this week. But here's a look at the numbers right now. Most of us warming into the 70s as we go through the 9 o'clock hour. You're going to find some cooler temperatures to the northwest because we do have some showers and some thunderstorms there. Dew points overall, again, I've always said this, when you have dew points in the 40s, maybe some low 50s like we do now, it's going to feel like spring outside. It's going to feel like an amazing spring day. But as these go from mid-40s to mid-50s to mid-60s, and we're talking Wednesday right into Thursday, and by Friday we could easily be in the low 60s, it feels like an entirely different season. So we're going to go from this spring feel as you step outside today. You'll step outside, you'll feel like, wow. But you're going to get to Thursday, Friday, like, okay, this is summer. Summer's here. And it looks like it'll be relentless, at least for a stretch. But for today, again, some passing clouds. Temperatures easily reaching the lower half of the 80s around the Twin Cities, and in fact, most of the region. Northwest Minnesota, clouds, showers, thunderstorms there. That will be a little bit of a cooling effect. But south winds, bit breezy, good 10 to 15 miles per hour. Not blustery, but again, a noticeable breeze for today. Here's a look at the forecast. And as I mentioned before, temperatures to the northwest, heavier cloud cover, some rain up there. So again, rain cooled air, less sunshine. So you would expect there to be 70s, but easily into the 80s. And as I mentioned, low to mid 80s for most everybody. Menominee at 87, 85 St. Cloud, 82 Brainerd, Ortonville at 85. You're going to find mid 80s along the I-90 corridor. Even Grand Marais should be, conservatively speaking, warm today, mid-70s. For Grand Marais, warm, definitely. But as we take a look at that dew point trend, there you go. Enjoy today if you really like that dry feel outside, because there it goes. And you can see dew points will run pretty close to 60 through the weekend, and then we're going to notice those mid-60s showing up. And again, that's your dog days of summer feel. That's when it's going to be, when you're going to use the term humid. You might use the term muggy. Not oppressive. 70s, let's reserve oppressively muggy for 70s. And we definitely have a chance of getting there later on this summer. But here it is. This is kind of how you feel about some of those dew points out there. Again, very nice, comfortable feel, 40s and 50s, but we're going to be up here. Muggy, sticky, oppressive is down the road. Here's a look at the 7-day forecast for those of you that want to get a quick look at it and maybe duck out. But right now, weather impact alert there for Thursday. It is looking like we could have some very early morning thunderstorms around the Twin Cities, and then we're going to wait. Again, this front lingers. It meanders around. It's not really getting out of here, so that trigger mechanism sticks around. Thursday night into Friday morning, we could have some more showers, some more thunderstorms, and then we're going to watch for Friday evening. Little area low pressure comes through, kind of runs the front, and then kicks it out of here. But as it kicks it out of here, another chance for some storms there. Might see something lingering around on Saturday through the morning hours. Again, with the front not just exiting the region, it still sets you up that you might have something sticking around for a little while. But we would expect things to clear up because by Sunday, look at that, we have some mostly sunny skies. But also notice, here's another clue that you can find in that 7-day forecast. Notice our morning lows lately have been low 60s, upper 50s mixed in, and it's been relatively comfortable around here. But when those dew points climb, your overnight lows climb. So when you start to see mid and upper 60s in that 7-day forecast, you know the dew points are going to be a bit higher. So again, there's your summer-like feel. Let's take a look at the pattern. Right now, we've had this omega block. You've heard us use the term a lot lately. Big omega block. So we had the winds kind of racing north through the Dakotas, up and over Minnesota, and Wisconsin kind of came down through Michigan, through the Great Lakes region, and it was in the shape of the Greek letter omega, hence omega block. Well, that high pressure has drifted to the east. It's parked over the Great Lakes right now, but later today it's going to continue to drift away. It'll sag to the southeast, and as it eases up its grip on us, because right now it's just basically just kind of holding everything back. Well, if that high pressure gets out of here, here comes the cold front. This area low pressure kind of slides up and over us. So the center of the low stays to the north of us, but it will drag this cold front through. That sets you up for a line of thunderstorms. But as that low continues to drift this way, that front just drags and lays down across the region. It's not getting swept through. It's just dropping in and sticking around. And that's why rain chances stick around for a couple of days. It's Friday, another low kind of rides right along that front. It'll be laying down like this. That low comes by, and that's what will finally kick it out of here. And then it sets us up for what should be a decent weekend. But right now, again, heavier cloud cover, showers, thunderstorms up in the northwest corner of the state, cooler temperatures there. You're going to see that up-level cloud cover make its way across the state later on today. Let's talk about severe weather potential, and then we'll get into the microcast. Right now, severe weather potential, as you can see, clearly far western Minnesota, much of the eastern Dakotas there. Level 2, slight risk. So again, a few isolated severe thunderstorm warnings to be expected. Right now, looks like it'll be hail and wind are going to be our biggest concerns with this system coming through tonight and even again through Thursday. There'll be some pretty good downpours as well. Finally, some real heavy rain coming through. And instead just one of those little pulse pop-up storms we've had recently, this is going to be a pretty good run at it. So I think a lot of yards, some farm fields, and some lakes are going to appreciate the rain we have coming. For Thursday, again, imagine that front just laying across the region like this, and that's why you see that severe weather threat draped to the east and northeast, but again, marginal. So the occasional isolated severe thunderstorm a possibility, and again, wind and hail. And then finally Friday, notice that that slight risk that was out to the west drops to the southeast. This is the low coming through and finally just kicking everything out of here. But again, for Friday, especially as we get into the evening hours, quite possibly another round of storms. Here's the microcast. Let's take a look right now. As we go through Wednesday morning, you're going to see that most of it stays pretty confined to western Minnesota. Again, those dew points are very low right now, so there's really no fuel at the surface for these thunderstorms to run on, and that's why as they move east, they just kind of run out of steam. Now, the front finally gets its move and starts to move in from the west. This is going to be late tonight, Wednesday. Tonight, 8 p.m., so rather late in the evening. Thunderstorms are firing up out here in western Minnesota, northwestern Minnesota. And you can see, again, a rather extensive line, some pockets of real intense rainfall, quite possibly going to have that hail and those winds along this leading edge of it. This is 11 o'clock at night. So again, the vast majority of our day has been pretty quiet around here. Take it into the early morning hours of Thursday. It is beginning to die down. Granted, you don't have as much of that daytime heating to work with. You still have some dry air, although the humidity is starting to build for Thursday. So likely tomorrow morning, Thursday morning, we're going to have some scattered thunderstorms, probably some pretty good wet roads around the Twin Cities. Get to the lunch hour, most of it moves through. Then we take through a rather quiet-ish afternoon. We'll get to 6 o'clock now, and now we start to see things firing up back to the west and northwest, out towards Ortonville, out towards Alexandria, even some activity up around the Arrowhead region. Take it into the evening hours, and here comes your next round of thunderstorms. And keep in mind that this front is going to be draped across the region. It can move a little bit, and that's why I say stay tuned and tuned in to the forecast, because if this front moves a little further south or doesn't go quite as far south as the forecast models expect, this is all going to be shifting, and that means it's going to change your day. And that's why I say, again, for late tonight, early tomorrow, Thursday morning, and then again Thursday into the later part of Thursday, make sure you've tuned into the forecast so you get the very latest information. As we go from Thursday into Friday, again, late Thursday into Friday, I would expect another round of thunderstorms before things finally kick out of here. Here's some good news, though. Again, we've been very dry for the past better part of a month, month and a half. We've had a couple of good pushes of rain, but not anywhere near average. 8 to 14 days out. Beyond your 7-day forecast, still some encouraging signs there for precipitation, which, again, you don't want to go through or go too long without getting some rain around here. And we should average about an inch of rain a week, May, June, and July. So we're talking a lot of rain, and it has been very dry for a while. As you can see, again, with the heat and humidity moving in and sticking around, we're going to have a couple of good rain chances showing up. This is the percentage of normal precip over the past 30 days. Clearly, you can see we are really lacking in the rain department. 25 to 50% of normal, and that's just the past 30 days. A little bit of optimism down there in south central Minnesota. Year to date, this is why the drought conditions are not as drastic as you would expect when you see that previous model. And that's because year to date, January 1st to today, we've been doing pretty good for the eastern half of the region. In fact, above 100% eastern half. Western half, it has been drying off a bit. So again, when you take a look at the drought situation, you're really not too surprised. Southwest Minnesota and even parts of north central Minnesota right now. And that was May 1st. It's been dry for 30 days. And notice, yeah, abnormally dry is beginning to spread across the region. But as we saw there in the forecast, again, looking a good 8 to 14 days out, even for the next 7 days. What you're seeing here, again, good couple rounds of rain. And with these thunderstorms rolling through Wednesday, Thursday, and into Friday, some areas could pick up an inch or 2 inches of rain with a couple events rolling through. That is certainly a possibility. Does it bring you all the way back up to do you meet the deficit and make it zero? Not necessarily. But again, we've seen some encouraging news there in the forecast, and we just got to hope that that continues to play out. Give us some beautiful weather, but bring us some rain every once in a while, right? Here's your 7-day forecast. And again, for tonight around the Twin Cities, rain very late. It could very easily stay dry around here straight through to midnight, but through the overnight hours Thursday morning, certainly I would anticipate there to be some good showers, some decent thunderstorms. Severe weather threat does drop off as we move from western Minnesota into central and eastern Minnesota. That being said, though, anticipate a wet start to your Thursday. For the afternoon, a lot of the area will be rather quiet. I wouldn't say completely dry, but quiet as you go into the late morning hours of Thursday, right up to about the dinner hour. And then again, we have another round of thunderstorms coming our way. So Thursday night into Friday morning, going to be some rough weather around here. Yes, there is some severe weather potential. And again, we're primarily concerned rain and hail for that. Friday depends on how Thursday plays out, because there's going to be boundaries. These thunderstorms, they send out boundaries and they can linger. That sets up for Friday. So stay tuned to the forecast. Pay close attention to the forecast for Thursday and for Friday. And then as we get to Saturday and Sunday, we're kind of getting out of that storm pattern. That front gets out of here, high pressure moves in, and we'll have a couple of beautiful days coming our way. Granted, a lot of humidity coming along with it.